Hello guys, how are you today? So today I won't really be explaining any quizzes. Instead, I'm gonna be explaining what is gonna come in the geometry periodic, which includes the surface area, the lateral area, and the volume. So I have just like a small explanation I want to do. And before I start, I'll just tell you some of the most important shapes that are coming. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 important shapes that we have taken. We have to memorize the surface area and the lateral area and the volume of each of them. This over here, this over here, we call this a prism. And in that all of its sides are a square and they're all the same square, we call it a cube, all right? This over here, we call it a cone. This over here, we call it a pyramid. This over here, it is called a sphere. And then finally over here, we have a cylinder. So just keep the names of these objects in mind before we start. Okay, now before we actually get into detail, I would like to explain what each of the following mean. What does surface area mean? What does lateral area mean? And what does volume mean? Okay, very simply, surface area in my definition and what I found in the book and on resources online, surface area, it is the sum of all sides. We're talking about the outer part. So the surface area of an object is the sum of the area, not the sum, sorry, the sum of the area of all sides. Okay, now when we're discussing about each and every single one of these shapes, we will also be discussing how to find the surface area. Now, the lateral area, in my definition, the definition on the book and resources online, it states that it is only the area of surrounding sides. Now, what does surrounding sides means? It means excluding the base. So it is the area of all the sides except of the base. All right, so again, surface area is the sum of all sides. This is including base. Then lateral area is only the area of the surrounding sides excluding the base. And then finally, the volume of anything, it is the amount of space an object occupies. Okay, so very simply, we just define surface area, lateral area, and volume. Hopefully it will kind of clarify. So surface area is the sum of all sides, including the base. Lateral area, it's only the area of surrounding sides, excluding the base. And finally, the volume is the amount of space an object occupies. So now that we finished discussing the definitions of surface area, lateral area, and volume, let us go to our first shape, which is a prism, okay? So what about a prism? We have many types of prisms. We have a triangular prism, rectangular prism, square prism, pentagonal prism, hexagonal prism, octagonal prism. Now what they're gonna focus on, they're not gonna focus on these. They are gonna focus on square prism, rectangular prism, and triangular prism. And also they will focus on the cubes. I don't know why it's not included. And by the way, a cube looks like this. All right. Now let us start. The surface area of any type of prism. Very simply, the surface area of any type of prism, it is 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter of the base times the height. So keep this in mind. The surface area is 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter of the base times the height. You could do it like this, or you could add all of the areas of all of the surrounding sides. So let me just go to the bottom because I have a figure at the bottom. So we are dealing with what? We are dealing with prisms, okay? To find the surface area of a prism, what we are gonna do is we are gonna add the area of all of the shapes. So of this side, 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 and this side. This is the meaning of surface area. So you will add the area of all of the shapes. You could memorize it like this, like whatever shape you get, you will find the area of all of its sides and add them together. Or very simply, for prisms, you could memorize that the surface area, it is 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter of the base times the height. Now, the second thing, which is the volume, which is always a constant, the volume of any prism, it is equal to the area of the base times the height. So, in this case, if you were to take a triangular prism, to find its volume, it would be the area of the rectangular base, okay, multiplied by the height. And the height is always the perpendicular, which is usually over here. Okay, if you were to do it for a rectangular prism, it would be the area of the rectangle at the bottom times the height, which is this over here. For a square prism, it would be the area of the rectangle at the bottom times what? Times the height. It is just like this for all the prisms. Now, finally, we will be discussing what? The lateral area of prism. Lateral area of a prism is very simply the perimeter of the base times height. Notice how it is very similar to what? It is very similar to the surface area, but the only difference is they removed the area of the base, because the lateral area is the area of the surrounding. So the surface area, let's say if we took the surface area of the rectangular prism, it would be what? It would be this side, the area of this side, plus 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 the area of this side. This is what? This is the surface area of the full surface. However, dealing with the lateral area, it is only the area of the side. So it's this side, plus this side, plus this side, plus this side's area. Okay, and we exclude the bases. This is very simply it. So like that, we finished with the prisms. We will move on to the types of pyramids. We have many types of pyramids. We have 4 faces, 4 vertices, 6 edges. So this is a triangular pyramid. What does a triangular pyramid mean? A triangular pyramid means that its base is a triangle. Okay? If we move on to a square pyramid, that means its base is a square. A pentagonal pyramid, also its base is a pentagon, hexagonal the same, and whatever. But what we will focus on the most is a triangular pyramid and a square pyramid. Notice why there is no rectangular pyramid. This is because it is a prism. Anything that has the base of a rectangle, or like any of its sides is a rectangle, like this, like this, like this, you see it has at least one of its bases to be a rectangle, then this is called a prism. Whereas if at least some of its bases is a triangle, then we call this a pyramid. Now the 2 pyramids they will focus on in the exam is a triangular pyramid and a square pyramid. Now, to find the surface area of any pyramid, it is the area of base plus half of the perimeter times the slant height L. What is the slant height L? Very simply, the slant height L is this height over here or this height over here. Because as you know, the actual height, let me use the different, here we go. Because as you know, the actual height in any triangle is always perpendicular, or in any pyramid, it is always perpendicular. So the slant height is going to be something like this. Okay? So the surface area of any pyramid, it's the area of the base plus half of the perimeter times the slant height L. Another way to do it is to add all of the faces. Okay, so let me go down again to the bottom. As you can see, a pyramid, a square pyramid is made up of what? It is made up of a square and then 1, 2, 3, 4 identical triangles. So another way you could do it is that you could do it area of square in a pyramid with a square base, and you add it to 4 times the area of triangle. Because why? Because it is a regular pyramid. Usually they will always give it to us as a regular pyramid. So this is another way to do it, to find the area of a pyramid. And now, after the pyramid, we're going to discuss volume. Volume is the same for all pyramids. It is very simply 1 over 3 times the area of the base times the height. This is pretty much it. You just need to memorize it. So now, finally, we are going to be discussing the lateral area. As you can guess, we said before that the lateral area, it is the surrounding area, or in other terms, it is the same as the surface area, but you are going to exclude the area of the base. So it's going to be very simply 1 over 2 times the perimeter times the slant height. So again, what you need to know is that the surface area and the lateral area, they are similar, except that the lateral area, it does not have the area of the base. Okay, so I believe we finished with the pyramids. Now we move on to cylinders. The only cylinder that we are going to be dealing with is a right cylinder. So the only type of cylinder they would get us is a right cylinder. Okay, so very simply, what you need to know is that the surface area of a cylinder, it is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. So let us go down all the way to the bottom. A cylinder, it is made of 2 circles and a rectangle in the middle. Okay, so it's the area of the circle on top and circle in the bottom, and they're always the same. So if the area of one circle is pi r squared and this is pi r squared, so together it's gonna be what? It's gonna become 2 pi r squared, and then plus you add it to the area of this shape over here. All you need to know is that the area of this shape or this rectangle is very simply 2 pi r h. So it's gonna be 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h, and that is how we got what? This is how we got the surface area of a cylinder. Now next up is the volume. The volume of a cylinder, very easy, you have to memorize it. It is pi r squared h. Alright, whereas the lateral area, I'm hoping you guys would be able to understand what the lateral area is by now. So the lateral area, as we said before, it is the same as the surface area, except you are gonna remove the base. So if you remove the base, it would be excluding 2 pi r squared, 2 pi r h. As you can see, we found the surface area, the volume, and the lateral area. Now we will move on to a cone. This is a cone over here, to find the surface area of a cone. Okay, the rule is pi r squared plus pi r times the slant height L. Okay, so if we go down to the bottom, this is our cone. The cone is made up of a circle and a sector. Now here for the circle, we know that the area of any circle, it is pi r squared. And then, in this case, what you need to know is that the area of this sector, it is pi times r times the slant height L. So you're just gonna add them together and you're gonna get this equation, which is pi r squared plus pi r L. Now the volume, accordingly, you just have to memorize the volume. It is 1 over 3 times pi times r squared times the height h. So it's 1 over 3 times pi times the radius squared times the height h. And now finally the lateral area, which I'm hoping you guys would know, as we said before, the surface area and lateral area have a relation in that the lateral area is similar to the surface area, except you remove the area of the base. So in this case, it's going to be pi times r times the slant height L. Now we move on to the last thing, which is a sphere surface, or the sphere. So from the sphere, its surface area, all you need to know is that it is 4 pi r squared. Now there is no lateral area of a sphere, but if they did ask you for the lateral area of a sphere, now I'm going to explain what happens. But we know that there's a surface area. So again, the surface area is 4 pi r squared. Keep this in mind. Now the sphere of the volume of a sphere, so volume of the sphere, it is 4 over 3 pi r to the power of 3. Now finally, the lateral area. There is no such thing as a lateral area for a sphere. So if they were to ask you about the lateral area of a sphere, you would put it as 4 pi r squared, because there is no such thing. Why? Because we know that lateral area and surface area are the same, except that the lateral area, you remove the base area, and a sphere does not have a base. So that means surface area and lateral area are the same. However, there will be another case if they ask you about a hemisphere. What is a hemisphere? A hemisphere is this over here. Okay, so as you know, the hemisphere is half of the sphere. So logically speaking, the surface area is gonna be half. So it's gonna be 4 pi r squared over 2, which is 2 pi r squared. But you forgot a very, very important part, in that the surface area is the area of a base, which is this over here. In addition to the area of the surrounding. So 2 pi r squared is actually the area of the surrounding, excluding the area of the base. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the area of a base, which is also pi r squared. So in total, the surface area of a hemisphere is 3 pi r squared. Now, very simply, we will move on to the volume. Now, we know that the volume of any sphere is 4 over 3 pi r squared. So the volume of this one, of a hemisphere, it's gonna be 4 over 3 pi r squared over 2, which is gonna give us 2 over 3 pi, not squared, sorry, cubed, pi r cubed. It's gonna give us 2 over 3 pi r cubed. Now finally, here comes the lateral area. The lateral area, as we said before, it is only the area of the surface. So we can come down here, okay, and we could take this. We know that the surface area, it was 2 pi r squared, which is the surface, the surrounding, plus the area of the base. But the lateral area does not have any area of the base included. So you're gonna remove this, you're gonna exclude it, and then the lateral area is 2 pi r squared. Now, this is pretty much it. Why exactly does a sphere not have a lateral area? Or, by the way, it's because it has no bases, but a hemisphere does have a base. So that means you can find a surface area, which is different from the lateral area. Now, this is all I wanted to say for this periodic. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed and have a wonderful day.